The rivalry between Mercedes teammates Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg is likely to be remembered as the defining battle of Formula One in the 2010s. The two used to be close friends, but that disappeared very quickly after the pair became teammates. The intense rivalry between Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg is a story of two vastly different backgrounds colliding on the Formula One track. Hamilton, the kid from the council estate in Stevenage, and Rosberg, the boy brought up in the luxury of Monaco, once joked about the possibility of one day competing in the same team for the Formula One World Championship. However, their dream turned into a nightmare over the 3 years they raced together at Mercedes from 2014 to 2016, leaving team boss Toto Wolff describing the animosity as almost impossible to manage and a situation the team will not repeat. So, how did two drivers who were once friends become bitter enemies, unable to reconcile their differences even years after Rosberg's retirement from F1? It all began in 2012, when Lewis Hamilton announced that he would leave McLaren to join Mercedes for the 2013 season, partnering with Nico Rosberg. This move was met with surprise and skepticism, as Mercedes was not known for its recent success in the sport. Many viewed this as a gamble for Hamilton. The 2013 season was a strong one for Mercedes, with the team finishing as runners-up to Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship. Hamilton had a standout year, scoring a win in Hungary, 4 third places, 5 pole positions, and finishing 4th in the drivers' standings. Rosberg, on the other hand, had 2 wins in Monaco and Britain, but finished 6th with 171 points. He achieved 4 podium finishes in total and 3 pole positions. As the 2014 Formula One season approached, all eyes were on Mercedes, who were considered the favourite to win after impressing during pre-season testing in Jerez. The team had adapted well to the new regulations, mandating the use of turbo hybrid engines, and their hard work paid off in the season opener in Australia. Rosberg and Hamilton finished far ahead of any other teams, showing that Mercedes was a force to be reckoned with. The first intense battle for victory between Hamilton and Rosberg happened at the 2014 Bahrain Grand Prix. It was a nail-biting race as the two teammates engaged in a close duel for the win. Both drivers were determined to come out on top, and they were willing to push the limits to do so. They even used engine modes against the team's wishes to gain extra performance. The tension between Hamilton and Rosberg continued to escalate in the following races, with Hamilton pulling the same trick in Spain to hold Rosberg off for victory. But things truly came to a head in Monaco when an incident in qualifying acted as the first public showing of how sour the relationship between Hamilton and Rosberg had become. Nico Rosberg was determined to make history by becoming the 6th driver to win back-to-back races in Monaco and join the likes of Ayrton Senna, Alain Prost, Graham Hill, Michael Schumacher, and Niki Lauda. But he had a tough challenge ahead of him, as his teammate Lewis Hamilton had won 4 straight races and was leading the Drivers' Championship by 3 points. The tension between the two drivers was high as they prepared for the Monaco Grand Prix. Practice and the first 2 stages of qualifying were a close match between Hamilton and Rosberg, with Rosberg just edging out Hamilton by 1/10 of a second in Q1 and Hamilton reversing the result in Q2. As the final qualifying session began, Rosberg took provisional pole with his first run, putting in a lap of 1 minute 15 seconds 998, just 0.05 of a second faster than Hamilton. But with a fresh set of super soft tyres and the track improving lap by lap, everyone knew that the final runs would swing the momentum back to Hamilton. As the final laps began, Rosberg lost 1/10 of a second through the opening sector, while Hamilton gained 2/10, putting him on course to snatch the pole away from Rosberg. As Nico Rosberg approached the infamous Casino Square corner in Monaco, he had one thing on his mind: to take pole position and make history. He had been pushing his car to the limit all weekend, and this was his chance to secure pole position. He thundered down the hill towards Mirabeau, expertly navigating the bump in the road and pulling his car towards the wall at the left. As he lined up to brake for the corner, Rosberg made quick adjustments to his steering wheel, sawing it first to the right and then correcting to the left. He increased the lock to the right a 3rd time as he tried to make the corner, only to find his front right wheel was locking up. A final attempt was made to make the corner, again sawing left then right, before finally he abandoned the lap, swinging the car left and into the slip road. But his efforts were not in vain, as the yellow flags that came out during his failed attempts forced all the cars behind to slow, including Hamilton. The incident created a lot of drama. A fuming Hamilton was convinced his teammate made a deliberate error, saying, "I wish you could have seen the data. I saw something late last night, and all I could do was smile." Williams driver Felipe Massa said Rosberg's steering had been strange, while the stewards agreed it was worth investigating, taking 3 hours to look over the footage. 3 hours after confirming their investigation, the stewards cleared Rosberg of any wrongdoing, saying they could find no evidence of any offence related to the Turn 5 incident after looking at the video footage and telemetry. On race day, Nico Rosberg was able to ease to his second Monaco win in a row, solidifying his place in history as one of the few drivers to win back-to-back races in Monaco. However, Lewis Hamilton's hopes of catching up to his teammate were dashed when they were pitted in the same lane, under the safety car. Hamilton was also struggling with dirt in his left eye during the race's closing stages, but he managed to fend off Daniel Ricciardo to keep second place. Despite the success of the team, the talking point of the day remained the deteriorating relationship between Hamilton and Rosberg. In the post-race ceremonies, there was no sign of bonding between the two drivers. They were no longer on speaking terms, and it was clear that the intense competition between them had taken a toll on their relationship. Hamilton declared, "We are not friends, we are colleagues." The tension between Hamilton and Rosberg reached new heights at the 2014 Hungarian Grand Prix, where Hamilton refused to let Rosberg pass him, even though Rosberg was on a different strategy. Also, at the Belgian Grand Prix, Rosberg collided with Hamilton on the opening lap, giving Hamilton a puncture that ultimately led to his retirement. Afterward, Rosberg said he left his car alongside to prove a point, which led to a major breakdown in trust between the two drivers, and Mercedes had to hold crisis talks, resulting in suitable disciplinary measures being taken against Rosberg. Despite the tension, Hamilton went on to win the championship at the final race of the season. The 2015 Formula One season was a less dramatic year for Hamilton and Rosberg, as Hamilton eased to a third world championship. However, the main flashpoint between the two drivers occurred at the US Grand Prix, where Hamilton clinched the title. During the race, Hamilton made a bold move, pushing Rosberg wide at the first corner, putting him in the lead. The tension between the two drivers was evident in the cooldown room when Hamilton casually tossed Rosberg's cap back at him in a playful manner. However, Rosberg, who was visibly fed up, immediately launched the cap back in Hamilton's direction, showing his frustration and disappointment. Rosberg dominated the early stages of the 2016 season, winning the opening 4 races. At round 5, which was in Spain, he beat Hamilton off the line, but coming out of the fast turn 3, his car entered the wrong engine mode after Rosberg made a mistake with his settings before the race. Hamilton dived inside, but Rosberg closed the door. The Brit continued onto the grass, where he lost control and spun into the side of his German teammate, sending them both into the gravel trap and out of the race. 2 months later, the tension between the two drivers reached new heights at the Austrian Grand Prix when Hamilton attempted to overtake Rosberg, whose car was suffering from brake problems. Rosberg tried to push Hamilton to the outside of the circuit, but the pair collided. Hamilton got by to win, while Rosberg limped home fourth with a damaged front wing. An enraged Toto Wolff threatened team orders on the pair, while the race stewards blamed Rosberg for not giving sufficient racing room. Going into the season finale at Abu Dhabi, Rosberg only needed to finish second to be champion. Hamilton won a nail-biting race from the German, defying team orders to slow down in a desperate bid to back Rosberg up into the chasing cars behind, so they could overtake and give Hamilton a third straight title. The plan failed, and Rosberg won the title before retiring from the sport less than a week later. The rivalry between Hamilton and Rosberg will forever be remembered as one of the most intense and captivating in Formula One history. This reveals why Nico Rosberg still dislikes Hamilton till today. What's your thought about this fierce rivalry between Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton? Let us know in the comment section below.